Central, and it's a dandy tonight because on the line, the boys Class AA Regional Championship from Joliet. The Joliet West Tigers of Coach Mike O'Connell, 15-9 on the year against the Joliet Central Steelmen of Coach Greg Peden, 18-8 and defending Ihsa West Conference champions. All on our Channel 15 high school basketball game of the week. Good evening, everyone. Joe Passion back here along with Frank Palmisani. I guess it always comes down to this. Great rivalries usually end up in the big games at the end of the year. We've got one tonight.
We sure do have a great game, and it's certainly a good rivalry. And how about the way the fans are into it already, Joe? We're still 20 minutes away from game time.
No question about it. This is one game when both Joliet West and Joliet Central bring out their fans. Remember last year in the Joliet Regional Final at Joliet Central against Joliet Catholic. The Catholic High fans came out there and they were just jacked up. Joliet Central had a big crowd out there. They were jacked up. And a lot of Joliet Central fans told me, hey, we've got crazy fans here too. Well, they've really shown it this year, I think. And maybe that's a reflection on the type of personality the team has shown on the court this year also.
Well, I think what's really interesting about just the way the fans all year throughout basketball in this area has really come out and watched. It really makes one that's covering games or one that watches games that's, from the intricacies of basketball, appreciate the other opportunities that come with the game, and that's the basketball game as an event, how basketball can just motivate people for the excitement of it and for just the fun of it.
Quickly about the teams, if you've seen them this year or if you haven't, you'll look at a mirror image of two teams with two outstanding inside players in the Joliet Central Steelmen and in Joliet West, and quickness and outside accuracy from the perimeter. Two teams that are very, very much alike. Two coaches, though, are very different in their coaching philosophies. You talk with both Mike O'Connell from West and Greg Peden from Central. How do they approach the game?
Well, I think we do have some differences. Obviously, one of the things, Joe, is they know each other so well. I mean, these guys have gone against each other, knocked heads, both during the course of the year, in regionals before. But I think Greg Peden is going to be more of a tactician. I think Greg Peden is going to be looking to really analyze the game. He's going to be changing defenses, doing more things from a technical side. I think Mike O'Connell is going to be looking at it from an emotional side. He'll be watching the ebbs and flows of the game, making sure that he'll call timeouts at the right time to make sure that his team stays at the kind of emotional peak level he's going to want. It'll be fun to watch the coaches as well as the players perform tonight, Joe.
The great matchups. First off, inside, you'll have for Joliet Central, you've got Graves and Winters, and then for Joliet West, they'll be matched up against their two outstanding inside players in Marion and Robertson. And then you go to the backcourt. Well, West, of course, has got McGoy and Thompson, and Central also two with outstanding backcourt people. Maybe West might have more experience in their backcourt. Do you feel that way?
I think a little bit more experience, but I think the interesting thing, and you know, I mentioned this the first time we saw Central and West, it's so uncommon, Joe, to see two high school teams that seem to almost be clones of one another. You know, nobody has their real height advantage. Nobody has their real quickness advantage. You really wonder who is the better team. Both, West has won both games. The second one's exceptionally close. Up to win 3 times, but yet, you know, maybe they have that psychological edge in terms of feeling a little bit more confident going into this one.
Well,
it'll just make for a great battle, Joe.
That's one thing Mike O'Connell was saying to both of us earlier in the week. Although his team has had some slides like their conference finale regular season loss to Lockport, the team has won their big games, including their 2 previous games this year against Joliet Central. How they pan out tonight will decide who advances on to the Romeoville sectional next week. Frank will be back in a moment to talk with the coaches, Mike O'Connell of Joliet West and Greg Peden of Joliet Central, when we continue our pregame coverage of our Channel 15 high school basketball game of the week right after this timeout.
Hi, Joliet West Pizza's here. Smells great.
Coaches, Mike O'Connell and Greg Peden. And I'd like to ask both of you, you obviously are in a position where you love to be in a championship game of a regional. But it's somewhat unusual or different because you're not playing somebody that you don't know a lot about. You're both facing somebody that you know the coaches, the other opposing coach very well, and you know the teams very well. Greg, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think, you know, as far as the rivalry and everything goes, I just as soon see this for a regional championship ball game. It, you know, pumps up the crowd. Obviously, we're going to have a great crowd here tonight. You know, even though you do know a lot about each other, you know, I think that's the way it should be. A good local ball game in order to determine a regional champion, and then the whole area can kind of get behind that one crew and hopefully send them on down the line to do well in the rest of the tournament.
Mike, your thoughts on that same question?
Just about the same exact answer as Greg. You know, I've got 2 kids that go to Central, and they're standing over here getting goofy right now, and heck, I have to listen to it all week long, and it's great. I love it.
Super. You know, both coaches have a real interesting history of basketball. Both are the sons of coaches themselves. And Mike, you also have an interesting history in this area. You know what area athletics is like. Think about what's it going to mean for these kids 10 years from now when they talk about this great Central West Regional. You've been there before, you've played. What's the history of Joliet athletics, and what's it going to mean for these kids?
You know, they don't realize, you know, and we've beaten Central a couple times this year. I says, nobody will remember that. You know, they'll remember the Central was conference champion, and they'll remember who the regional champion is. And they talk about it. You know, they talk about it from time to time, and I still hear, in fact, somebody was talking about the Lockport game we lost 20 years ago at the buzzer to Lockport in the regional, so it's always around.
And Greg, your background, you know, you're the son of a coach that coached for 20-some years in Indiana. And Indiana has that great reputation of being really offensive-minded. Come to this area, worked at Joliet Junior College and at Joliet Central, maybe more of a defensive orientation in Illinois, and especially in this area. What is the Greg Peden trademark to the Joliet Central program and certainly to this year's team?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we tried to bring in is a real team atmosphere and real togetherness. Some years it's worked out and some years it hasn't. This year we've been very proud of the kids. They've worked hard together as a group. They've really pulled together, and we had a tough slump in the middle of the year, and basically we pulled ourselves through that. And obviously we got ourselves a situation where we're playing in this ball game and got ourselves a conference championship, so we're very happy to be here.
As we've often said before, the coaches have done their jobs. It's now up to the players. We'll see how the players perform. The big game tonight, the championship of the Joliet Regional. Okay, guys, good luck to you.
Up here, if someone asks...
We've talked on the pregame show already how both teams are so similar to each other. I don't even know if flipping a coin at this point would say anything.
I think really what it's going to come down to, Joe, is how well the players do what the coaches have prepared them to do. We'll get into the keys of the game, and we'll be able to watch those keys during the course of the game.
We'll find out just how well both teams are prepared for tonight's game. One of the things both coaches mentioned to us before the game was who's going to be mentally ready? Is someone going to have a down game? For example, Tony Graves has only scored 16 points in the 2 seasons for Joliet Central in games against Joliet West. Is he going to be ready to have that one big game they've been waiting for tonight? If he does, it's going to cause the West Tigers a lot of trouble. One thing tonight is going to be fun. The fans are here. Boy, I love these people. Joliet Central, Joliet West both. All the fans are here. Everyone's on their feet. Time for our national anthem. Join us. Basketball here tonight at Joliet West, site of the boys Class AA Regional Championship, at a game which will determine which Joliet leaves this site to go on to Romeoville for the sectional championship next year. Let's now meet the starting lineups of both teams represented here tonight. First off, the team that will be the official visitors, Joliet Central, led by all-conference selection Michael Travis, averaging 13 points per game, 6-foot senior, and he'll be joined in the backcourt by another senior. Marcus Snowden will represent Joliet West,
Snowden on the year, averaging 7 points. He's a 6'2 senior for Joliet West. Number 42 is Snowden. Now back to Joliet Central, James Winters, one of the premier underclassmen in Will County. 11 points, 11 rebounds per game. Winters just a junior at 6'5", and he'll be matched up against Kevin Robertson, averaging only 6 points a game, 9 rebounds. Robertson, a senior at 6'6", wearing number 50. In the middle for Joliet Central will be Tony Graves, tallest player on the floor at 6'8". Graves, of course, a big part of the Joliet Central play, averaging 13.5. And here's the other Tony, Marion, 16 points per game, just a junior, 6'6". Tony Marion, number 52. In the backcourt with Joliet Central, joining Michael Travis will be Randy Tucker, 5'9", junior, averaging 7 points per game. He can put it up from the perimeter. That's going to be a plus for both teams. Michael Thompson, 6 foot average per game, 5'7", junior. Thompson, number 10, adds a lot of quickness to that transition game of Joliet West. Keith Snelson will be joining the backcourt in Joliet Central. Snelson, 7 points per game, 6'1", senior. And Elliot McGoy, all-conference selection. McGoy averaging 12 points, 3 assists, a 6'1" senior. There are the starters for the Joliet West Tigers. They finished 15-9 overall, 8-4 in conference plays, and the Joliet Central Steelmen, led there by that lineup, Greg Pete in his 8th year, 18-8 overall on the year. Sika West champions this year at 11-1. And Frank, Joliet Central in the regional final for the 7th straight year. Says a heck of a lot about the coach.
Tremendous accomplishment. It does say an awful lot about what Greg Peden has done with the Joliet Central program during the period of time he's had it. Joe, it's going to be real interesting to watch because Joliet Central has 3 big points to their game in terms of the things they want to accomplish key-wise. One, they really want to deny the flash cuts to Robertson and Marion. 2, they've got to stop the perimeter penetration of the Joliet West guards. And 3, obviously, they want to stop the 2nd and 3rd shots. So we'll get a chance to look at that on the Central side. We'll talk about the West side as the game goes on.
The Steelmen will be in their royal blue and gold colors, white trim. Graves to tip off against Robertson for West. The Tigers in the white uniforms and the black and gold trim. Snowden crashes. We've got a loose ball, and coming up with the ball loose and going up for Central. Coming down though with the rebound is Marion. Tony Marion's first rebound of the game. West setting up in their half-court offense, and Frank, you talked with Coach Michael Connell what they want to do, and that's right there. Push it inside, and that's the confrontation we're going to see all night. The guards pushing it inside to the post players, and then it's going to be bang them, and a little bit more bang them.
I've got some statistics here that are just amazing. In the last 6 games, Joliet West, when they move the ball around and hang on to it for over 20 seconds, scores 61% of the times. If they shoot the ball in the first 10 seconds, they only score 24%.
At the line, Marion, first shot is good, first point of the game. Let's take another look at that confrontation, Frank, of the 2 big guys going at each other. Boom, in your face, but the foul. So Graves with the foul, Marion at the line, makes them both. Tony Marion with the first 2 points of the game, both from the free throw line. We're at 2-0 opening stanza.
Michael Connell felt that he thought Joliet Central would play behind, and he was going to elect to play in front defensively, but by playing behind, he really wanted to get the ball inside.
Long shot by Tucker, back of the rim, no good. Tucker with the follow, can't get it to go. Marion the rebound, and quickly, Michael Thompson actually on the walk across the timeline. Elliot McGoy back out to Thompson. They move it around the perimeter to Snowden on the baseline. Looks inside for Robertson, who I feel is going to be a key to the West Tigers tonight. Graves the rebound. Robertson is not one to score a lot of points, but he can add a lot in trying to neutralize this man. Winters, shot is no good, ball is loose with the follow, but they can't get it. The ball is Travis coming back. Look at all these offensive rebounds the Steelmen are getting, but they can't get the ball to fall, but the Steelmen get the foul. And Joliet Central will retain possession of the basketball and will go to the line.
If you're Michael Connolly, you've got to be pretty displeased at the way Joliet West did not occupy the defensive backboard that time down the floor. I mean, they gave Joliet Central 4, 5, 6 shots.
Loose ball foul, so it will go out. Elliot McGoy, 2-on-1. McGoy-Thompson, back to Thompson on the layup. He gets it for 2.
Joe, whenever I see a team defensively steal an out-of-bounds play, I always think that's great preparation, because then the kids are really zeroing in on what the other team's trying to do and anticipating it.
Winters air ball right there at the follow is Graves, no basket. We have a foul on Marcus Snowden. Our referees, there's Stan Donegan of Elgin. The other referee, Bob Gates out of Oak Lawn.
Greg Peden wants a tempo game. I mean, he wants tempo in his favor. He'd like to push the ball quickly. I think Mike O'Connell wants just the opposite, wants a little bit of a slower game.
Loose ball again. Thompson and McGoy trying to get the loose ball. Can't, because Randy Tucker saves it. Looking inside, another turnover for Joliet Central, their third, and down come the Tigers. Thompson almost losing the ball, but he's back with it. Michael Thompson into Snowden, back out to Michael. Tremendous athletes on this Joliet West team. Nice stop, turnaround jumper, basket is no good, but the foul is drawn. So to the line again goes Marion, and picking up the foul is Keith Snelson, who had a great game against Joliet Central earlier in the year. And as we took a look at the replay, we'll see how Marion gets a great position to get that shot off.
As we can recall, Joe, and as we mentioned, Greg Peden said, we've really got to concentrate on stopping the flash cuts. That time they did not stop the flash cuts, and that's why we see a free throw being shot.
Tony Marion 3 for 3 from the free throw line here in the first quarter, 5-0 in favor of Joliet West with just under 6 to play here in the opening stanza.
You really get the sense too, Joe, that Tony Marion has come to play, don't you?
Marion 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. 6-0 Joliet West, and the Steelmen still looking to flash up the scoreboard. Almost stolen away by Snowden, then by Michael Thompson. Elliot McGoy on the drive for 2. Elliot McGoy teams up with Snowden and Thompson, and Ray Peden doesn't like what he's seeing, but the Joliet West Tiger faithful are on their feet, enjoying an early 8-0 lead. Let's take another look at that coast-to-coast steal and basket.
There you got a situation where Rodney Bayless says to himself, Joe, this is mine. Once he had that ball in midcourt, there was nobody going to stop him. There's no question that Greg Peden had to take that timeout. He get blown out right out of the tubes right here, Joe, early in the game. Good timeout on his part. And as we had talked about, Greg Peden's a very technical coach. He's in there talking about strategy. But did you notice the Joliet West coaches? They were bounding with enthusiasm. They want to build on that enthusiasm and see Joliet West even run off some more scores here.
We take a look at Greg Peden in the Joliet Central huddle. Peden in his 8th year, an assistant at Joliet Junior College for 5 years, and then prior to that, an assistant for 1 year with the memorable Dale Glenn, who coached here for what seemed like eons and eons, and he was a neon of a coach out there in the court, very colorful, in the same form as a Frank Palmisani or a Bob Basarich, some of the great coaches. And
don't put me in the category of those two guys. They accomplished a lot more than I did, Joe.
Well, they certainly did, and there's 2 schools, and don't pull the modesty act on me, Palmisani. Providence has a lot of banners up there that you are partially responsible for. Providence and Lockport are still alive in their regional final tonight. May get it to the sectional. Talk about the Romeoville sectional later as we see Joliet Central turn the ball over for the 5th time here in the first quarter. And they have yet to score. Dangerous cross-court pass. Joliet West with their 2nd turnover of the quarter.
You know, I see Joliet Central playing a lot like we've seen both of these teams play in past games, and that is feeling each other out. But the only problem is West hasn't been feeling it out. West is really coming with all barrels rolled, ready to shoot it.
Michael Travis, all-conference selection from Joliet Central, shoots it up from the perimeter, can't get it to fall. Kevin Robertson takes the elevator to pull down the rebound, and down come the Tigers.
It's important for Joliet Central to get a ball to drop, because right now they've got to be questioning themselves.
Joliet West being patient. Snowden out to Thompson from 3-point range. Michael Thompson has 5 with that 3-pointer. 11-0 West.
I think Joliet West defense is bothering Central a little bit. This is Michael Connell's 3-2, but he says it's almost going to be like a man-to-man because we feel like we can match up very closely to what Joliet Central's trying to do offensively.
West has beaten Central twice already this year and have come out strong here. Three-point attempt for the Steelman by Travis. No good. We got a loose ball at half court. Nelson has it knocked away. Snowden tried to keep it in bounds. Great hustle by Marcus Snowden and Michael Thompson. What pressure the West Tigers are putting on Joliet Central tonight, Frank Palmisani.
We've got great quickness on the floor, and Joliet West is using that quickness on defense.
11-0 West, 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Class AA Boys Regional Championship, three-point attempt. Central looks desperate. Nice rebound and the follow by James Winters. Winters, the junior, 6'5" forward, gets the first points on the board for the Steelmen. 11-2 Tigers. Looking for Marion. Winters on Marion. Robertson and Graves, the matchup down low, where we thought it might be the other way around.
You know, that basket was so important for Joliet Central. Winters coming out and getting that offensive rebound. You know, Joe, when you're not shooting the ball well and your guards are taking them because they're open and they don't go down, you've got to get some stickbacks. That time Winters got one, and it could mean that Joliet Central can stay in this game here early.
Keith Snelson, who had 17 points in that 60-59 West win over Central a few weeks back, has 2 fouls and no points. Air ball by Robertson. On the transition, loose ball traveling. Joliet Central turns it over for the 7th time in the first quarter.
You know, Greg talked about the importance of Joliet West guards not penetrating. Mike O'Connell talked about the significance of them penetrating. He really believes in their penetration. They're playing very aggressively. They're really taking command of the game, going hard at the basket every time they have possession of the ball.
Marion dribbling like a forward. Snowden from 12. Marcus Snowden puts himself on the board. All the West starters have scored except Robertson. It's now 13-2 with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. And Joliet Central shaking up here in the early going of this regional championship game in Joliet. Down low to Graves, takes Marion off his feet and draws the foul.
I think Joliet Central obviously did something there that Greg Peden wants a lot. He wants the ball to go down inside, wants to make something happen inside. If there's conversion, then you can always kick the ball back out and get the jump shot off.
At the line will be Graves. We'll take another look. This is the second time we've seen Graves and Marion trade fouls going into each other's faces off the floor. Last time it was Graves who got a foul trying to block Marion. This time it's the other way around.
Well, I think you mentioned earlier, Joe, that Tony Graves has not played exceptionally well against Joliet West. There's no question. He has to have a good game tonight. If he doesn't come out and really respond offensively, it'll be very difficult for Joliet Central to get back in it and come out victorious.
Graves gets them both for 2 more, and it's now 13 to 4. We've got a substitution. Snelson with 2 fouls takes a seat on the Central bench, and coming in will be Chris Gant, the 6-foot senior, number 22. Gant, of course, the outstanding football quarterback for Mac McLaughlin's team. By the way, saw Mac out here, looks great. You know, had that little heart trouble earlier in the season, and well, I'll tell you, Ticker, he says, just fine. He says, all I got to do is stay out of trouble. And I said, I don't know, Mac, if that's possible.
You got it.
2.5 left in the first quarter. Marion's big jumper, no good. Got a loose ball foul underneath, and a flying arm from Joliet West. Central will get the ball back as referee Bob Gates makes the call. Greg Peden yelling it out. He likes the call.
You know, with Chris Gant coming in the game, I'd like to mention the fact that Greg Peden really appreciates Chris Gant. Really appreciates the fact that you've got a player here that's a co-captain, not starting, but being a great contributor off the bench. Certainly a leader on the club, one of the reasons why Joliet Central was able to win the conference championship.
Michael Thompson picked up the foul, so he takes a seat on the West bench. In is Rodney Bayless, who has been a part-time starter already this year, so West doesn't lose a lot with Bayless coming in and Thompson on the bench with 2 fouls. Michael Thompson had a foul away from the ball. We got another foul here for a 1-on-1.
Against that 3-2 zone, that's a play that you should see more, where the point guard attacks the defensive point guard, and with both inside players underneath the basket, if they cut through the lane at the same time, one of those 2 players should be open.
James Winters at the line. And his rainbow finds the pot of gold. James Winters with 3 of the 5 Central points. Of course, he comes from great bloodlines. His dad was an outstanding player, outstanding athlete. James them both.
James has got great touch on the basketball. You can just see the way the ball comes off his hand and the beautiful spin he has on the ball, Joe.
13-6. Bayless on the dribble to McGoy, way out high. Finds Bayless open from 16, but he is fouled after the shot.
You notice what Elliot McGoy did when he got the ball. I mean, he was looking to make things happen right away. He attacked. He was able to get a double team and then found the open man. Great guards. You don't see great guards in high school basketball, guards that really want to go after it. But Mike O'Connell believes in that theory, and his guards are doing it.
Huge crowd. They're still coming in here to the Joliet West Gymnasium tonight. Standing room only as Greg Peden discusses with Keith Stelson what he'd like to see from him when he gets back out on the court. Bayless' free throw is no good. Just under 2 left in the first quarter. 13-6 West, who went out to an early 8-0, make that 11-0 tear. Since then, Central has brought it back to within 7. In and out, loose ball. Central gets it back. Long shot off the glass. Loose ball underneath, and Snowden gets it for the Tigers.
That's got to be disappointing for the Joliet Central coaches for Chris to come out and fire up from 3 that quickly in the offensive set.
And after missing 2 free throws. Snowden puts up a 16-footer, no good. Loose ball, but Graves gets it back up to Tucker. Tucker looking for Graves on the baseline, forces up the shot, no good, but he is fouled by Tony Marion. And this is where the problems are going to exist when the 2 tall lumbers start going at each other.
One of the things that Greg Peden gets his big guys to believe in, and that is run the floor. Because in our break, we'll bring the ball to the sideline. If you run the floor, we'll get it in the inside. They did it that time. It worked to perfection.
Have a timeout with 1:20 left in the first quarter. 13-6 in favor of the Tigers as Mike O'Connell read out the referees on that last foul call. Big crowd out here tonight watching this game. These are just some of the crazy creatures from Joliet West, Joliet Central rather, who are watching the game. The Joliet Central crowd all masqueraded out for tonight's game. Joliet West also standing room only. You know, this are 2 teams that were right on top of the Sitka West race this year. Let's take a look at our graphic we have for you on the final Sitka West conference standings, and you can tell just how tight it was at the top. Joliet Central winning the conference 11-1, that only loss of all things coming early in the year, and no one thought it would have happened, but they beat Bolingbrook, they beat West twice, and Bolingbrook, of course, ousted in their opening game of the playoffs. Big surprise there. Joliet West, by the way, correct, 8-4, tied for second with Bolingbrook, followed by Andrew and Lockport, although 5-7 in conference. That could be the Cinderella story because Lockport's still alive in the Bolingbrook Regional. Providence still alive in the Lincoln Way Regional. Waubonsie Valley is the expected team to come out of the Waubonsie Valley Regional for the sectional next week, which we'll talk in further about later on during the telecast. At the line is Tony Graves. Gets the bounce.
I think the most unusual thing about this conference was the top 3 teams. Very seldom do you see this. Joliet Central beat Bolingbrook twice, Joliet West beat Joliet Central twice, and Bolingbrook beat Joliet West twice.
Shows the parity of those top teams. And Graves is 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and all of a sudden Joliet Central has crawled back to within 5, 13-8. Ball knocked out of bounds. West will retain possession. Good hustling play out there by Graves, trying to add some enthusiasm to get this Central Steelman team back in the ball game.
And I think the key is Greg Peden's calmness after the lead was there, took the timeout, got his kids to just think about what they wanted to do, and now obviously they're right back in it.
Outside to McGoy. McGoy looking to put up the 12-footer, gets the roll of the rim, and Elliot McGoy picks up his second bucket of the first quarter, and all of a sudden it is back to a 7-point ball game, 15-8.
in the last 6 games when the Joliet West guards have penetrated, they have either shot themselves or passed the ball and have scored 74% of the times, Joe.
In the ball game for Joliet West is Grady Myers, giving Tony Marion a rest with 2 fouls, and Myers picks up a foul immediately. You got to look at Grady. Grady's been a big help for them off the bench. At 6'3", can play the swingman and could also help inside. We can take another look at that last basket by the Tigers as we look at James Winters at the line. Winters perfect from the free throw line, 3 for 3. Here's another look at West's last basket as McGoy works his way for the open J and gets the roll to the rim. 15-9, Winters trying to go 4 for 4 from the free throw line, including the field goal he had earlier in the game. Nope, gonna be short. Right there with the rebound though was Graves, but he couldn't get it to go back up.
Graves, boy, he just looked like when he turned around, Joe, he just didn't have a sense of where the basket was at all.
25 seconds left in the quarter. McGoy milking the time outside. West will milk the clock, working around the perimeter. And a reaching in foul by Joliet Central's Randy Tucker. And so West will go to the free throw line.
Because Mike O'Connell has great confidence in his guards, he can play that fourth corner set knowing that his guards are going to make something good happen.
Randy Tucker, 5'9" junior. Got the foul at the line. Rodney Bayless averaging 6 points per game this year. Bayless with his first bucket of the night. Rodney, a 5'9" senior.
And what a contributor Rodney Bayless has been. He started earlier in the year and now he's coming off the bench. But again, you know, when you talk about Joliet West guards, you're not talking about 2 guards, you're talking about a 3rd guard, because Rodney is very capable himself.
Really can, and he can also play out there. Bayless with both.
Big trip here for Central, Joe. Central needs to get a score here at the end of the quarter.
15 seconds left in the quarter. 17-9, JT West. Looking inside for Graves, had Winters on the baseline, but he threw it at his knees and out of bounds.
It's one of the situations there where Tony Graves knew what he wanted to do. He had in mind the correct thing, but the situation didn't allow for execution.
3-point attempt at the buzzer off the back of the rim. Bayless with the attempt. But we have come to the end of the first quarter of play here at Joliet West Class AA Regional Championship game. With the score, the JT West Tigers, who went out to an early 11-0 lead, leading the Steelmen after one, 17-9. Joe Passion along with Frank Palmasani, the Joliet Central Creatures. These guys came out to play, huh?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, they're really into it. They're fired up, and they're doing everything they possibly can to get their team a little bit more pumped.
But on the other side are the Joliet West fans, and these guys are maniacs too. This is something. This is Friday night in Illinois in March. High school basketball standing room only gym, and the madness that the cheerleaders and the fans and the players and the coaches, and hey, even the broadcasters all get involved in.
I think it's going to be real interesting as we watch the beginning of the second quarter to see if Joliet Central tries to establish some things on their break. They need to run, push the ball up the floor, get it down to the baseline, run those inside guys, through the lane and try to get the ball from the corner inside. I think that's where you'll see the opportunity for Tony Graves to get back into the game, back scoring.
Joliet West will inbound the ball to open up the second quarter of play here. Michael Thompson on the dribble across the timeline. Working on Tucker, nice inside play to Tony Marion. Marion, who sat on the bench for the last third of that first quarter with 2 fouls, back in and scores immediately, making it 19-9, a 10-point Joliet West lead.
There's an old adage in basketball. The old adage is simple, Joe. If you're an inside player, let the ball do the work. You get your position, you hold there, let the defense go wherever they want, let the ball do the work. If you maintain that position, the ball will get to you.
Central retains possession, looking for Winters. They've been looking and looking and looking for James Winters, but just unable to find the big junior inside for those inside points that Central and West both are putting a lot of weight on here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see James Winters step away from the basket, as he did that time, because he can score facing the basket as well as with his back to the basket.
Winters with the nice inbounds pass to go up with it. Does not get the basket, but he does draw the foul.
And as we know, foul trouble can be a big, big key to this game.
Frank, let's take another look at how dangerous James Winters can be when he posts up high, because he can surprise you and come in like he does right here.
Excellent power move.
Basket didn't count, but he does draw the foul. At the line is James Winters. Gets him. Winters, now 4 for 5 from the free throw line, has 6 points. Tremendous young junior. Many people feel that this kid, with his strength, his height, and his jumping ability, will be the premier big man along with Marion next year. Loose ball foul by Joliet West underneath the basket as Rodney Bayless picks up the foul.
You know, if you look at Joliet Central's situation, Joe, without the free throws, I mean, this wouldn't even be a game. But, you know, Joliet Central is just being able to nip, because they're going to the line, they're getting some cheapies, they got a stick-back basket earlier. And here now you have a situation where, you know, they're hanging in there, not playing exceptionally well, but, you know, that could not bode well for Joliet West down the way as the game progresses.
Keith Snelson gets the applause of the Joliet Central faithful and hits his first bucket of the night. Snelson with one. Boy, they needed him. Snelson almost pulled the game out of the hat at Joliet Central a few weeks back between these two teams. One of 2 games that Joliet West beat the Steelmen earlier this year. 7:20 left in the half. 19-11, good inside move with the block by Graves. Traveling violation by Bayless has O'Connell out of his seat. And even Rodney smiles, I can't believe it.
Joliet West did everything right that time. I mean, Grady Myers just stuck the ball inside, but when you've got a shot blocker or a rejector, it neutralizes a lot of good plays.
Graves has 2 blocks already. 3-point attempt, put up and good. Michael Travis, the leading 3-point shooter on the Central Steelman team. And now the Steelmen put on that half-court pressure, Frank.
Key to that whole situation was great penetration. When they got the penetration, Travis just felt like he was in rhythm. Joliet Central really asserting itself now.
But the ball goes the other way. We've got a whistle traveling against West. The West coaches are off their bench, and Elliot McGoy saying, hey, ref, you can't be serious. And he is, although Bayless taking it lightly.
I'll tell you, one of the things that's going to be very difficult on the officials and on the scorer's bench is that we cannot hear the whistle, can't hear the horn, can't hear the whistle. It'll be very, very difficult because of the crowd noise.
Central looking for Graves, back out, long jumper put up by Tucker, no good. Rebound Robertson, who came in a moment ago from Marcus Snowden. So it's Bayless and McGoy in the backcourt, along with Myers, Robertson, and Marion for West. Graves, Snelson, and Winters in the backcourt, or rather the front court for the Steelmen, along with Tucker and Travis. Marion pushes off and draws the foul. Tony Marion picks up his 3rd personal foul at the 6:16 mark, the 2nd quarter, and a 5-point Joliet West lead. Michael Connell there in his tie. His jacket's already off. He wants a timeout. Can't believe it. I think Mike wants to get some chewing in with the refs, as well as a chance to talk to his players and calm them down.
Well, I'll tell you something, it's awfully tough when you're a coach to see your best player get nabbed with their 3rd foul, especially when it's an offensive foul and they have possession of ball. It's one of those situations where you say, hey, if a guy's going to foul, give him a good foul. You know, if he's hacking somebody, fine. But it's a touch foul. You know, he's got the ball, he puts it on the floor, he's got his arm out, you know, and a foul's called there. You know, one of the intriguing situations, I think, about the series of events here, and one of the reasons why I said earlier how crowd noise plays into the game, if you don't have good guards that can sort of play the game without you, because, hey, these kids can't hear the coaches. How could you possibly communicate to your players on the floor with this kind of noise? The guards have got to take control. They indeed have to be the coaches on the floor, and oftentimes it's those good guards that make the difference.
That's why Michael Connell felt that his team had an advantage there, because his guards, at least in Michael Connell's words, have more experience in Joliet Central. So he feels he's got those 2 extra coaches out on the floor, especially in a noisy, standing room only gymnasium like tonight.
Well, three Joliet West coaches had an opportunity after that timeout to give them a little tongue lashing to the referee. I don't think it was appreciated.
I don't think Stan Donegan of Elgin, the referee in mine, really paid any mind to it. Graves turnaround jumper off the back of the rim. The follow by Tucker. Check that, Michael Travis now with 5.
I am amazed at what stick-back baskets and what free throws have done for Joliet Central. I mean, again, great aggressiveness on Travis's part, understanding where the ball was going to come off and being in the right place at the right time.
The game is 3 points, 19-16. Here's the score. Tucker picks up his second personal foul, and Elliot McGoy will go to the line as Michael Connell sits down and takes it a little bit more easy. There's McGoy picking up his second personal foul. Or check that, McGoy at the line as Tucker picked up his second. Elliot makes it in, Elliot McGoy. McGoy now with 5. McGoy and Marion both all-conference selection by the Sitka West coaches this week.
Be interesting to see now what Kevin Robertson does without his partner, Tony Marion, in the game. Will he attempt to be more assertive offensively?
Marion and Thompson both on the Joliet West bench, both with 3 personal fouls. 5:45 left in the first half. No good, but the follow by Graves is blocked and fouled by Snowden. Marcus Snowden picks up his second personal foul, and Graves will go back to the free throw line.
Joe, right there we saw what it meant not to have Tony Marion. Kevin Robertson did an excellent job of contesting the shot, getting a hand in the shot, indeed disturbing the shot from going down, but there was no one there then to rebound the ball.
Tony Graves, tallest player on the floor at 6'8", makes it count. Graves with 5 points. They have all come from the free throw line. He has not hit a field goal yet, Frank, and without that, Graves is needed so badly to get that inside offensive plus in there, and he's not getting it.
Joe, I think Joliet Central only has 2 or 3 field goals for the whole half.
The style pick of this game is correct.
21-17 our score. One of the other scoreboards has it 29-17. I know the Joliet West faithful would like that score to be accurate, but it is not. 5:44. Now they're changing it and making it correct. 21-17 our score. Stay with us at halftime. We've got some interesting halftime interviews to talk about as we look ahead to the Romeoville Class AA Boys Sectional next week, which will feature the winners of 4 local regionals, including the winner of this game, the winner of the Bolingbrook, Lincoln Way, and Wabansie Valley regionals, and then they'll all go to Romeoville next week, Tuesday and Wednesday night, the final Friday in that sectional championship game. You'll see it here on Channel 15.
And in that sectional, Joe, we could have 3 area teams.
The shot by Graves is good. Tony Graves with 6, all from the free throw line. It is now 21-18, back to a 3-point ball game. Grady Myers on the break, but he goes out of bounds. Turnover, Joliet West.
Those are the kinds of things that Joliet Central really, really loves, because it allows them to get more into their tempo, get some pressure on, get a steal, get a turnover, then bring it back to across the floor and really be aggressive.
All the way out to Tony Graves, who hits his first field goal, and unlike underneath the basket as you might expect, the 6'8" kid takes it from 15 feet out. Pulling up is Rodney Bayless for 2.
Joliet Central was feeling awfully good about itself, and Rodney Bayless took it into his own hands and turned that around a little bit. Penetrated and did a good job of stopping and popping. Hit that jump shot.
23-20. Good move by Winters to keep the ball alive. Graves with the shot, no good. The foul is drawn. Kevin Robertson, I believe, of Joliet West will pick up the foul.
Again, that's one of those situations where the offensive player pumped, leaned, and Robertson really, really felt, hey, I'm just going to get a charge. But
let's look at that replay,
ball counts.
And we'll see how Robertson did get the charge, but he didn't. As they go inside, you'll see how Graves works himself in a position, and Robertson tried to back away, doesn't get the Oscar nomination. Graves will be at the line. Tony Graves is perfect at the free throw line. He is 7 for 7, plus that 2-point field goal you saw a moment ago.
Joe, it is unbelievable, the people in this gym right now. I mean, guys are standing on top of one another. They're overextended beyond the players on the floor.
We have a 1-point ball game, 23-22, with just under 5 to play in the first half. A game that looked like it was totally out of hand in the early going when West went out to an early 11-0 lead. Joliet Central was turning the ball over, couldn't get anything in a rhythm. Joliet West, though, has got 2 of their starters in foul trouble, and Marion and Thompson both with 3. They're on the Joliet West bench, and Joliet Central's taking advantage of that, coming back led by Tony Graves.
I like what Joliet West is doing here. I think basically what they're saying is tempo is going with Joliet Central. We got people in foul trouble. We're going to take some time off the clock.
Bayless on the dribble and between the circles to Grady Meyer. Bayless looking for McGoy for some help, and West. Bayless in the middle, nice shovel pass to Snowden for 2, just over the outstretched arm of Tony Graves. Marcus Snowden with the second field goal of the game. Brings the Tigers back up by 3. 3-point attempt, no good. Rebound Snowden, Winters all over his back for a foul. James Winters picks up his first personal foul. Let's go back and take a look at how patiently West is being here in passing the ball around the perimeter, looking for the players cutting back and forth, and finally getting the basket.
You know what happens here, Joe, is it looked like a turnover, and then somehow he got the deflection back and created, and Marcus Snowden was able to get that shot. Joe, you know, we used to have a rule as we approached offensive basketball, that the guy bringing the ball down the floor, unless it was a fast break, he'd never shoot the ball. You always had to initiate with the pass. And I don't, you know, Joliet Central that last time down the floor, you know, they had everything going in their favor, and to come down the floor and cast from 3 points, boy, what an ill-advised shot.
Snowden with his 5th point of the game, and Marcus, 6'2" senior, averaging 7 points per game, doesn't get it. He went over the line. He knew his shot was short. He thought he'd try and get a rebound off it. Doesn't. And so the Tigers turn it back over.
Key possession now here for Joliet Central. They've established some authority in the game. They certainly don't want to lose it.
There's our score with 3:50 left in the first half. Down low for Winters, knocked out of bounds by Snowden. Marcus Snowden all over the court, really making up for the absence of Tony Marion inside.
Michael Connell's theory is play zone, front to post to get backside help.
Central trying to work their half-court offense. Michael Travis way out in front of the West crowd. Graves pumps, puts it up, and he's got it. Tony Graves has come alive here in the first half and is leading Central back within 2, 26-24 with 3.5 left in the first. Stolen away by Travis. Check that by Randy Tucker. Randy Tucker steal at 3:20 in the second quarter has the Steelmen tied at 26. You never thought it could have happened.
Well, it's a tough situation here because, you know, you've got your 2 good players out. You're running that 4-corner, but all you can do is sit and watch. You don't have a real good guard you'd like to have in this situation, and Michael Thompson sitting. He's going to have to sit until the second half starts with 3 fouls. So these 2 young men, these 2 guards, are going to have to get it done.
Well, the game certainly has come to what we thought it might be, unlike what it seemed to be in the early going. Ellie McGoy sees the trouble. He calls a timeout with exactly 3 minutes left in the first half, and the Joliet Central Steelman crowd on their feet applauding their miraculous comeback here by the Steelmen. What a gutty performance by Tony Graves. We talked about Graves in the pre-game show. One of the premier players as we take a look at some of the baskets that Joliet West Michael Connell didn't want to see. Graves with the nice move inside, waited to take Robertson off his feet, and then he came through with the bucket. And then the other way, well, boy, all of a sudden Randy Tucker comes out of nowhere, steals the ball here, and will go in for the layup to tie the ball game for the first time this evening. 26-26. Graves in 2 seasons for Central in games against West had scored a total of only 16 points until tonight. Looks like he's going to double that tonight.
He feels good about himself right now, Joe. I mean, he has his rhythm. You know, he's taking advantage of the fact that Tony Marion is not in the ball game, and he wants to assert himself. Right now, you'd have to say the edge in this last 3 minutes is definitely with Joliet Central. They've got pressure going defensively. They feel good about the way they're playing here, and we'll see if Joliet West can combat that.
Tony Marion with 12 points. Elliot McGoy's shot is short. Robertson can't get a handle on it, and coming up with the loose ball is Keith Snelson for Central. Tucker to Travers from 3, up the rim, no good. Graves and Robertson, but it's Robertson who comes down with the rebound. All tied at 26. Michael Thompson on the walk across the timeline. Working against Tucker, he brought the ball over. Turnover, Joliet West.
Greg Peden is standing up, motioning with his left hand, get the ball inside. Obvious to everyone behind us, so even the fans are into coaching because they want the ball to go in there. But the players aren't recognizing the size advantage right now that Joliet Central has.
The turnover by the Steelman gives Elliot McGoy a break. Has the ball knocked out of bounds by Keith Snelson. What speed and quickness by Snelson getting a hand on the ball and also on McGoy, but it took away the breakaway.
Terrific foul. That time, that's a good foul. Keith Snelson hustling. Really, Elliot McGoy had a breakaway layup. He went in there, did a good job of getting a hand on, trying for the strip, obviously foul, but a good foul.
Let's take another look at that good foul. Unfortunately, it's not so good for Keith Snelson. It puts him back on the bench. Here's the breakaway by McGoy. Rather than passing it off, he tried to go up himself when he had men on his right and left, but he's at the free throw line. Snelson on the bench with 3 personal fouls as Elliot McGoy makes the free throw. McGoy 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. Now has 7 points tonight.
And I think McGoy is showing everybody why he's an all-conference player. He's playing with a lot of assertiveness in this game.
No good, loose ball, and Central gets the rebound. 2:11 left in the first half. And West has taken a slim 1-point lead, 27-26. Michael Travis looks for Graves. Nice pass to Winters, who is buried underneath the boards. Winters will get the free throw line in exchange for the rough play.
I think Joliet Central's coaching staff is saying, hey, every time, hit the flash post, we'll dump it inside, and we're either going to get fouled or we're going to score.
Kevin Robertson gets the foul. Let's take another look at what looks like the Big Ten underneath the basket. Watch these guys go at it. Robertson now will come to the bench, and coming in for Joliet West will be number 34, just a sophomore. You see him there in the right corner of your screen a moment ago, Terry Collins, 6'4" sophomore. At the line is the junior, James Winters. He gets it.
This young man's got a tremendous future ahead of him, Joe. You really like to watch his basketball attributes. I mean, he can stand away from the basket, shoot the ball with some touch, takes the ball to the basket hard, and plays hard. I mean, he goes after it. I mean, he doesn't back off anybody.
Winters with 8 points as Michael Thompson, number 10, back in the ball game for West, brings the ball up, and Central has the lead back, 28-27, less than 2 to play in the first half.
This is one of those situations that Michael Connell said, hey, I gotta play him. I can't let him continue to sit on the bench and see this lead whittle away and maybe get away from us here.
Thompson from 3, and that's why he's in the ball game. Michael Thompson with the second 3-pointer of the game now has 8. 30-28 in favor of West. Winters comes up to get the pass and the bucket. James Winters with 10.
If the 2 low post men cut at the same time, that cannot be stopped. Excellent pass and excellent square up for the shot.
We're tied at 30. Michael Thompson draws the foul against Randy Tucker. That'll be Tucker's 3rd personal foul, and so Tucker joins Snelson with 3 personal fouls for Central, while West has 3 fouls for West.
You can bet that when that whistle blew, the Joliet West coaching staff looked very closely at the call. Because if that's an offensive foul, you know what happens to Michael Thompson. He gets stuck with his 4th, and he's gone for a long period of time.
Off the court comes Tucker and Bill Ritchie, 6'1" senior, number 30 in for Central, replacing Tucker. No good, a lot of bodies. Robertson tried to put it up, couldn't get a handle on it. Check that. Number 34, Collins, tried to put it up, couldn't get a handle on it. Robertson's on the bench with 3 personal fouls, and so's Tony Marion. The two inside players for West, and Central's taking advantage of it. Michael Travis on the follow. Travis now with 7 points. 32-30 in favor of Central. 45 seconds left in the first half.
Joliet Central in a man-to-man defense. Oh, wow, excellent job.
Goaltending against James Winters as Rodney Bayless bucket counts. Bayless with 6, and we are back tied at 32. Michael Thompson takes a seat on the West bench. Back in the ball game is Grady Myers.
I think Joliet West would love to survive this half with their people that are in foul trouble and just get out with a tie.
Central has a chance to take the lead into the locker room. We are tied at 32.
And you'd have to say Greg Beaton wouldn't mind that either, although he wants a 2 or 3 point lead. But he's saying, hey, I was out of the tubes. I mean, we were down for the count. But we came back and we are survived this half.
15 seconds left in the half. Steelman control in their own end. Gant on the dribble. 5 seconds left. Into Graves. He's been their answer. Can't get it to go. Winter's shot is too late. We have come to the end of what was expected to be a tight first half. But wait a minute, we've got a foul here at the end, and maybe someone will have to shoot some free throws. I'll tell you what, we will take our timeout. Grady Myers will go to the line. We'll watch Myers take the free throws, and then we'll leave you. We'll come back with our halftime festivities. Grady Meyer will be at the line to shoot a 1-on-1, and this could break the 32-32 tie.
That was really a big ball in the game, Joe. I mean, it's one of those situations where West has an opportunity here to pick up 2 easy points.
Time is out. Everybody is off the floor except Grady Myers. Makes the shot, giving West the halftime lead, at least for now, by 1. That's Myers' first point of the game. One last shot, and we take our break for halftime. Gets them both. At the half, it's Joliet West going into the locker room with a 2-point lead, 34-32. We'll be back on our high school basketball game of the week.
The Tigers of Coach Michael Connell in the locker room with a slim 2-point lead, 34-32 over Joliet Central. Now, you may remember last year at Joliet Central's regional championship game between the Steelmen and Joliet Catholic, we talked to the Wild Catholic High's 10th man, as they call him in football, or 12th man in football, 6th man in basketball. And Joliet Central back then had a pretty good crowd, but they weren't as maniac as they are these days. So they decided, well, we're going to show passion up. We're going to come out here and get crazy for the cameras. And they're here tonight, the Bleacher Creatures. These guys are unbelievable. All right, I've got 3 of them with me here today to tell us a little bit about the origin of the Bleacher Creatures. Terry, Keith, and Terry. First off, Terry, how did it all start?
It all started back when we had a good team. We knew we were going to have a good team. We were going to come out, we were going to win games. Came out, we defeated Bolingbrook. They're ranked in the state. We knew we were a top team. We just came out, we knew we had to root them on and pull us downstate. We're going downstate. We have confidence.
All right.
Come on, fans. Well, all we got to say is we'll see you at state. We want to be on TV all the way down.
All right, now first off, Terry, where did you guys get these outfits? From NASA? Down in Houston at the Space Center?
No, we got a good friend. Rob Denowellen. He got us the.
Now this fact that you guys got this thing started, and I'll be very serious with you guys. A couple of years ago, I would say there was a student fan apathy at Joliet Central. What's turned it around?
Well, to be honest, me and these 2 guys right here at the Fenton tournament at Thanksgiving time started it. It caught on with everybody and just kept picking up. Now look at our fans. We got a bunch of crazies with us.
All right. Tell you what, these are the Bleacher Creatures. You guys are fantastic. Get back in the seat.
Italian Express pizza.
And this loud, packed gymnasium of Joliet West Tiger fans. They're saying, hey, Passion, what about our interview? Hey, we only have one halftime, guys, but you do a great job out there, the guys and the gals of Joliet West. And their Tigers right now lead by a field goal here at the break, 34-32. Joliet West getting 2 free throws from Grady Myers at the end of the buzzer that gave them that 2-point cushion at halftime. Joe Passion along with Frank Palmasani as our Channel 15 High School Basketball Game of the Week comes to you from Joliet West, the site of the Class AA Boys Regional Championship between the 2 inter-town rivals, Joliet Central and West. The Steelmen in their royal blue dark uniforms, the gold and white trim, with the ball in their own end, open up the second half. The Tigers in the white uniforms, the gold and black trim. And Tony Graves opens up the second half the way he started the first, with a basket.
Obviously, one of the things that Greg Peden probably told his team at halftime was established right there in the first possession. That is, fellas, we are having great success getting the ball inside. Let's continue to do that. Tony Graves feels good about his game. Get him the ball. Make him feel better.
Graves had 12 first half points, so now with 14 led the Steelmen in the first half. Ball knocked out of bounds, but the Tigers will retain possession. James Winters with 10 points in the first half for the Steelmen, 7 for Michael Travis, 2 for Tucker, and 1 for Snelson. For the Tigers, they were led by Michael Thompson with 8, including 2 free three-pointers, 7 points for McGoy, 6 for Marion, and Rodney Bayless. 5 for Marcus Snowden, all the way down to James Winters. James Winters now with 12 for the Steelmen, who have taken their biggest lead of the game of 2, 36-34. Ball is knocked out of bounds. McGoy stepped out of bounds. And Joliet Central will get the ball back.
When Joliet Central is pushing the ball, they do good things because their guards will penetrate and their inside players are open. I'm sure Greg Peden wanted the break, get the ball down the floor, get it to the corners and then knock it inside or go from the top down inside.
Steelman control. Travis, Tucker, Graves, Winters, and Snelson out for the Steelman. Winters pulls up for the J, can't get it to fall, and McGoy with the rebound. McGoy, Thompson, Robertson, Snowden, and Marion in for Joliet West.
One of the things that Mike O'Connell had to be telling his kids, especially the kids in foul trouble, Tony Marion and Michael Thompson, is you cannot let the officials intimidate you. You have to continue to play aggressive. You got to play smart but hard.
Winters the rebound. 6:20 left in the third quarter. Steelman with the ball, they lead by 2, 36-34. Michael Travis looks inside to Graves, and Tony Graves has 16 points. 12 in the first half. He's lit a fire under himself after going 6 for 6 from the free throw line in his first 6 baskets. After that, Graves found the field goal range from 12 feet. He has been on fire ever since.
Well, Tony Graves, obviously, if he had poor games in the past against Joliet West, he's certainly not having it tonight.
Let's take another look at how Graves positions himself in the paint and high up in the paint on this nice pass of the last basket. And this basket gives Joliet Central their biggest lead of the game, 38-34. 6:05 left in the third. Thompson and McGoy bring it up against the half-court pressure of Central. Thompson in between the circles to McGoy out in front of the West crowd. McGoy from three-point range. Nope, they're going to give him a 2. Elliot McGoy has 9. That 2-point bucket brings the Tigers back within 2 points, 38-36. Chris Gant looks down low for Graves. Ball goes out of bounds, and West will bring it up. Gant already in the ball game for Tucker. Randy Tucker with 4 personal fouls after picking up that last one a moment ago. The Central Steelmen and the Lady Tigers both represented here by the cheerleaders. Looking inside again. Graves passes inside the Winters have all been low down at the kneecaps.
Spacing, spacing, spacing. You can't pass the ball in such a short distance. You have to have spacing on the floor.
5.5 left in the third. The winner of this Class AA regional championship game advancing out of the Romeoville sectional against the winner of the Bolingbrook Regional. Ball gets through the legs of Snelson. Bayless, Thompson, they're all over the place. They don't look pretty, but you gotta like their hustle.
Oh, no question about it. How about the quick hands?
Graves, pass intended for Graves. Couldn't get it down there, but Central controls, and Winters lets it bounce off his foot out of bounds. Greg Peden saying, hey, that's okay. Good hustle, bring it back the other way. West will have it with 5:05 left. 38-36 in favor of the Steelmen.
One of the things that surprised me a little bit, Joe, I thought Joliet Central was going to attack with their two inside players somewhat the way they did in the first half and were successful, and that is for both Graves and Winters to cut through the lane when the ball's at the top at the same time. Flash up high or in that medium post, because that center has got to guard two guys and it's almost impossible.
Again, the full court pressure put on by the Steelmen, and it works. Nelson off the deflection from Gans. And the Steelmen really starting to make an effect on the Joliet West Tigers, bringing it up court. Something that it was the other way around in the opening stanza of the ball game, when Joliet West went up 11-0. But Central has been an active part of this game ever since. Gans from 16 is good for two. Chris Gans, first bucket of the night. Excellent. Gives the Steelmen another 4-point lead, 40-36. Steelmen again, two Gans. Nope, we've got a whistle. No basket. Michael Thompson collects his fourth personal foul for Joliet West.
That was excellent job by Joliet Central last time on offense. Penetrated, tried to get it inside. The Joliet West defense kept on getting closer and closer to the basket as the penetration occurred, and they got an easy jump shot. And then their pressure is starting to wear Joliet West down. Wear them down.
Let's take another look at how active the Steelman press has been here, Frank, and they're really charging the West Tigers. No basket there, but great hustle for the turnover, and the Steelmen controlling their own end. Thompson and Snowden on the West bench. Meyer and Bayless in to replace them. Gant, offensive foul. Chris Gant really got up in the air, but Kevin Robertson let his body do the work.
Kevin Robertson really did a nice job that time. I mean, he was convinced that he was going to get a charge. The press that we see Joliet West using, Joe, is the old 1-2-2 ball press that Collinsville made famous.
Putting up the shot, Bayless, blocked by Winters. Robertson, the little jump hook for two.
How do you stop the jump hook? I mean, it's almost a shot you can't stop. If you got two equal players height-wise and you allow your body to get in the way of the defensive player, it's an unstoppable shot.
The pass led to Graves, goes out of bounds, and so now all of a sudden the Steelmen start to look a bit shaky. We have a 2-point Steelman lead, 40-38. Ball thrown out of bounds, and it will come back the other way to the Steelmen.
Those kind of things you just don't like to see in a game of basketball if you're the coach of the offensive team. I mean, it's sort of wasted a possession there.
Greg Peden sitting down there making directions for the bench for Joliet Central. 3:44 left in the third. Going out to half court is Snelson looking back in the corner for Travis. Pulls up from 18, no good. Rebound, Marion couldn't get a handle on it, but it goes off the knee of Chris Gant. And so the West Tigers will bring it up. Big crowd on hand, standing room only for this regional championship game from Joliet West. 2 years ago, it was Joliet Central that beat Joliet West in the regional final. Last year, Joliet Central lost to Joliet Catholic in the regional final. Long shot by Myers, no good. Robertson tried to get the rebound, but only one-handed it out of bounds. And the Steelmen will bring it back up.
Kevin Robertson really made a gallant effort to try to secure that offensive rebound, but his body just didn't allow him to be under any kind of control.
Bill and John, our cameramen out there on the floor, doing a great job. They've got the tough part. They've got to stand between the two attractive squads of cheerleaders here. Long shot, 2-point attempt by Snelson, no good. Graves gets the rebound and pushes it back out. With 3 minutes left in the third, a 2-point Steelman lead. Snelson to Travis. looking down low. Robertson got the big arm in there. Kevin Robertson is going to have to make himself a force here in the second half. He did not score in the first half. That bucket we saw him score a moment ago was his first bucket of the night, but he has been defensively on the floor at all times.
This 3-2 defense of Joliet West is making it difficult for Central to get the ball inside. They're really collapsing. I think we're going to have to see Central, you know, after they move the ball 5, 6, 7 times and try to penetrate, it's going to have to hit some jump shots.
Snelson on the dribble to Travis, looking for Winters. They're trapping and double teaming the big post players for Joliet Central down on the baseline, Frank. Seems to be shutting off the inside for the Steelmen. Reaching in by Marion, almost knocked the ball away. Blind pass down to Winters. Wants the jumper, is going to take it over everybody. No good. Got a over the back foul against Keith Snelson, and that will be Snelson's 4th personal foul.
You know, it was a situation where the defense was better than the offense that possession, because Joliet Central really did some good things in terms of their patience. I mean, they attempted to get it in. They backed it off. They tried to, you know, reverse the ball, but hey, the West defense just stayed tough and protected the basket well.
McGoy on the dribble to Bayless in the corner. Michael Thompson on the bench with 4 fouls. A nice look by Marion, but no good. And Winters, physical underneath, knocking Robertson out of the play, but picking up the foul.
That one time Tony Marion wanted the ball, and he certainly hustled for it, but tough to get that over the back foul.
Snelson comes out. Cooper comes in for Joliet Central. We've got a timeout, a Joliet Central timeout, with 1:44 left in the third quarter. A 2-point Steelman lead, 40-38. Let's take another look, Frank, at that last basket a moment ago. West getting it inside to Marion, but he couldn't get it to drop. He had the position, but couldn't get it to fall. And while we have a moment during this timeout, as Greg Peden with a 2-point lead for the Steelmen pump it up. We've got some tremendous athletes on this floor tonight, Frank. We've talked about it. The Ihsa West coaches made their all-conference selections earlier in the week. Let's take a look at the 10 players that made the Ihsa West all-conference team, selected by the coaches of the Ihsa West this week. There are 4 players from that all-Ihsa West team. They're on their court tonight. We have a graphic on that. We can take a look at it here in a moment if we can. Elliot McGoy and Tony Marion from Joliet West are 2 of those all-conference players from Joliet West, and Michael Travis and Tony Graves, the 2 all-conference players from Joliet Central. And maybe we'll take a look at that graphic later on when we have a moment about the coaches' selections for the all-conference in the Ihsa West.
Those are 4 very worthy players of that accomplishment, Joe.
2 players from Bolingbrook, 2 from Romeoville, 1 from Andrew, 1 from Lockport. McGoy with the long shot from 3. Elliot McGoy with his first 3-pointer of the night. McGoy has 12, and the West Tigers have the lead back, 41-40. The Steelmen now trying to bring their offense back into gear. Chris Gant from 16, off the glass, loose ball. Winters wants to come up with it. Got a jump ball, possession arrow will go to West.
You know, that was an excellent out-of-bounds play. That time, Joliet West turned the ball, got it to the weak side of the floor, and Ellie McGoy, the inbounder, which in many cases is often the shooter, ran to that side of the floor and got the 3-point shot off.
1:25 left in the third quarter, and the Tigers regaining the lead at 41-40. McGoy trying to beat the central press, which has really hurt West, and the ball comes up here towards Frank Palmisani. For a moment there, I thought Frank was going to make a grab for that basket. Almost, Frank. Inbounding the ball, Michael Travis for the Steelmen. Joe Pash along with Frank Palmisani. Glad to have you with us on our game of the week here on Channel 15. We'll have the Romeoville sectional final for you next week. The week after that, the East Aurora boys Class AA Super Sectional, the Sweet 16. Then they go down for the quarterfinals of the Elite 8 at Assembly Hall on, of all days, St. Patrick's Day. Michael Travis gets the loose ball and puts it up for 2.
Joe, there's there are certain things that happen in the game that if you're going to win the game, they have to go for you. And that is deflections that just happen to fall into the right person's hands. In that situation, that it seemed as if Joliet Central got a break and the ball went to Michael Travis, and he converted for 2.
Michael Travis almost was on this woman's lap for a moment and almost in the second row on that great effort to try and get the ball in, but the Tigers retain possession. 35 seconds left. Three-point attempt is good by Tony Marion. Marion with his first three-pointer of the night and his first basket of the second half. He has 9.
These guys
and a
are
2-point West lead.
These guys are cooking right now, Joe. When your center goes away from the basket and hits a three-pointer, you know there's some real good feelings about playing this game.
Marion really hustling here against Graves. Marion with 3 personal fouls, though, along with Robertson and also Thompson with 4. Tony Marion went up with that ball. 2 seconds left, puts it up at the buzzer and will not make it. And we have come to the end of the third quarter of play. Again, it has been tight, but the Joliet West Tigers retain their 2-point halftime lead at the end of 3. It's the Tigers of JT West leading at 44-42 on a 3-point field goal. While we have a time here in between the third and final period, let's go to the graphic board of WCTV, Channel 15 in Will County. Take a look at the all-Sika West Conference players selected by the coaches earlier this week. And there they are, right on top, 4 players from this game, including Graves and Travis from Central, Marion and McGoy from West, and of course, the 2 outstanding players from Bob Mitchell's Bolingbrook Raiders, David Hopkins and Lloyd Kerr, Brian Pride, Oliver Gibson, Gibson a junior, both from Romeoville, and Anthony Johnson from Lockport, Chris Delaney, the outstanding perimeter shooter from Andrew, on the Sika West coaches all-conference team. Congratulations to those players, their coaches, and their teammates for a tremendous, tremendous play this year. As we go into the fourth quarter of play, it'll be the Joliet West Tigers who will take a 2-point. And let's take a look at Marion's 3-point field goal. I was really surprised he pulled up to take it, Frank.
Tony Marion has got to believe in himself when he steps out of his range and into the 3-point range and shoots the ball like a guard.
And that has become the difference here, a 2-point difference right now, as Central led by 1 at the time, 44-42 to open up the final period. West with the turnover, no, comes back, traveling by Tony Graves. Again, the great effort by Graves, but West will retain possession by Joliet West.
Michael Thompson is back in the game, Joe, with 4 fouls. Obviously, Michael Connell has said to him, it's your opportunity, Mike. You know you can't foul, but go out there and give it everything you got. Don't let up, but also be very smart on the floor.
And there's Michael Thompson looking for the shovel pass, but Marion couldn't find him. Chris Gant on the break, doesn't get it. Gant traveled, nope, carried the ball. Chris Gant had the nice breakaway, was a bit out of control though, and carried the ball.
I think you have a situation there where sometimes as a basketball player, you could go too fast. And when you go too fast, you don't have ball control, and you saw it there.
Inbounding the ball is Michael Thompson, Bayless, and McGoy. 3 guards in, along with Marion and Robertson, the 2 post players for JT West. Bayless pulls up, can't get the bound. McGoy the rebound, but a foul by Central.
I'm amazed, Joe, because the last 2 offensive sets, the point guards have taken the shots. And, you know, you've got to establish offense. You just can't come down and have the point guard dribble, penetrate, and shoot the ball himself. You want the ball to be moved. You want passes to be made. We heard the statistics before the game. If Joliet West holds the ball, passes the ball, and controls it for more than 20 seconds, they shoot 61% of the time. If they shoot it within the first 10 seconds, they shoot 24%.
Elliot McGoy at the line. He'll shoot a 1-on-1. McGoy with 12 points, including 1 3-pointer. Let's take a look at the foul that will set up this free throw shot, Frank. A lot of banging going on underneath. And McGoy went down, but he gets back up to the free throw line to shoot the first end of a 1-and-1. He gets it. Elliot McGoy with 11.
A lot of times you get guards that play the game. They're such good guards. They penetrate so well, but they want no part of the board. They don't even want to be around where the big guys are. But not Elliot McGoy. He just loves to get in there, knifes in there. He'll go in and battle with the best of them.
Correction on McGoy's point total with 13. Missing that shot. A reaching in foul by Tony Marion. He felt he got the ball. The referee felt he got the hand. Marion picks up his 4th personal foul. So Marion and Michael Thompson with 4 personal fouls for Joliet West. Robertson with 3 in foul trouble for Joliet Central. Tucker and Snelson with 4 apiece. Winters with 3. Graves with 2.
Joe, when Tony Marion came out of the game in the first half, it changed the complexion of the game drastically. We'll see if Joliet Central is able to do exactly what they did in the first half.
James
and
Winters.
There you see it, right there.
Winters now with 14. The Tigers lead by 1, 45-44 with 7 minutes left in the ball game. Down low to Robertson, over everybody, but he misses the basket. Got a foul underneath against the Steelman, and I believe Randy Tucker picks up his 5th foul. Nope, it's Snelson who picks up his 5th. Keith Snelson, let's take another look as Snelson is fouled out of the ball game. Watch Snelson get a hand in there. Number 24 is Snelson. And this is really unfortunate that Keith Snelson, outstanding senior, 6'1", fouls out. Snelson scoring 1 point.
How about
Snelson scored 17 points in that 60-59 Joliet West win at Central a few weeks back, but tonight becomes a no factor.
How about Marcus Snowden? I mean, here's a guy who really has a nose for the ball. Ball goes up at a board, and he just finds a way to get an offensive rebound or come crashing in.
Snowden's free throw, though, is no good. Snowden in the ball game for West. Snowden with the steal. And Marcus wisely slows it down, pushes it back out to Michael Thompson. Thompson controls with 4 fouls is Michael Thompson. Rodney Bayless now on the dribble in the backcourt. To Thompson. 1 point West lead. Bayless back to Michael. Michael from 3. No, it's going to be short. It's an air ball.
You know, I don't disagree with that shot, Joe, because, you know, you don't have your stud around the basket inside. The guards want to take control. You got a 3-guard offensive set. They moved the ball a little bit. The ball just didn't go down for Michael.
Coming back the other way is Michael Thompson. A nice move inside, but he can't get the ball to fall. 6:05 left, and back comes the steal man.
Oh.
Big shot by Randy Tucker. Tucker, with only his 2nd field goal of the game, has 4 and has given Central the lead back. 46-45 with 5:50 left in the game.
What an athletic move by Randy Tucker. I mean, he just skies for the board, brings it coast to coast, and then stops on a dime. And there he is again, picking up the loose ball.
Nice move by Winters inside that forced the steal and the turnover by West. 5:34 left to go. The winner advances to Romeoville for the sectional final. The sectional semis rather. Offensive foul against Tony Graves.
You know, Kevin Robertson is got the charge earlier, and he's in that situation. He's got that mode and say, hey, I'm going to sacrifice my body. Every time there's going to be contact, I'm going down, and he's picking up the call.
There's Graves with the foul.
Well, you got 5:25 left. You might as well go with your best. And certainly, Michael Connell has decided to do that by bringing Tony Marion back in.
Tony Marion, good inside move, gets the bucket and draws the foul. A big play for Tony Marion. He took it to the hoop against the big fella Graves, and that will be Graves' 4th personal foul.
Well, one of the things you see there that you really like, if you're Joliet West coach, is that they went to Marion right away. They didn't hesitate.
Check that the foul, Frank, is against James Winters.
Right.
So while Graves has 3 personals, Winters now has 4. Snelson with 4, Tucker with 3, and Graves with 3 for Central in the personal foul category. At the line is Tony Marion trying to cap the 3-point play, and he does. to the demise of the Joliet West fans, or to the Joliet Central fans who now bring it up the court.
Joe, what a ball game we have here. I mean, this thing has gone back and forth, and both teams have just really, really played hard.
48-46. The West Tigers with the 2-point lead, but not for long. James Winters with the bucket that ties it up. Winters now with 16 points tonight. James Winters tying it at 48-48 with 5, make that 4-48. Left to go in the ball game, and the West Tigers will bring it up the court.
Well, that's the time we had a stoppage of play there, and the official lectured the fans, so you know the officials are got their ears out a little bit here too.
Three-point attempt was partially blocked by Winters. Loose ball, gets it out to Winters. To Michael Travis, he travels.
You know, I made a couple comments about the officiating, Joe, but boy, these two guys are really hustling, working very hard to get on top of calls, and certainly this is not an easy game to do when you've got crowds like this.
Well, certainly the Central Steelman fans don't like the call, but I think it was a good one. Bob Gates of Oak Lawn, Stan Donegan of Elgin are two officials tonight. As Frank said, they're really running with these kids here tonight. All notched up at 48. Inside to Marion. Wants to go up with it. Does. No good. Rebound, Randy Tucker. Randy Tucker at 5'9" with the rebound. He finds Tony Graves. Graves with the points. Tony Graves now with 18 points tonight.
Randy Tucker has done it more than once. Rebound the ball, bring it the length of the floor, either get a shot off or get the ball inside. Exceptional, exceptional fast break play.
Rebound, Marion, little hook, can't get the roll. Marion the rebound, Snowden the foul.
Those are the little things in a game of basketball that are interesting, because one team wins or loses by a point or 2 points. You can always look back and see the one ball that either rolled in or rolled out.
Kevin Robertson back in the ball game for West. Snowden takes a seat on the Joliet West bench. The Steelmen looking to advance on a 2-point lead, 50-48. Chris Gant works the baseline, wanted to push it out to Graves on the give and go, but he is fouled, ball goes out of bounds. Let's take a look at that last shot a moment ago, Frank, and we'll see how. Now we'll have to look at that a little bit later on, maybe. 3:33 left as they'll inbound the ball right away. So let's stay with the game action here while they're inbounding the ball for Central with the 2-point lead. Gant in the corner, back out to Tucker, to Graves. Graves back out to Tucker, he wanted to take the three. Michael Travis from 3, short, rebound Marion. And Michael Thompson will bring it up.
I think what we're gonna see now is a different tempo. Both teams, because they know they're down to the wire, are gonna be looking to take their time, get what they want, use the clock, but making sure they get a good shot.
Elliot McGoy from 3 gives the lead back to Joliet West, 51-50 at the 3:05 mark.
I can't believe the number of times this lead has changed. There it has
Right
changed
back
again.
Tony Graves. With less than 3 minutes left in the Class AA Regional Final from Joliet West, the Tigers and Steelmen know that within a couple of minutes the season is over for one of them. They're really playing here. Michael Thompson traveled. Travis really forced him to take the shot away from the basketball.
Well, I think Mike knew he traveled too. He just, you know, his mind was telling him to do something a little quicker than what the body reacted to. But I'll tell you what, you know, again, you're talking about a game that's going to go down probably in the last 30 seconds, and look for free throws to decide it.
52-51, the Steelmen with 1-point lead from the free throw line, no good. Rebound Graves, fouled by Robertson. Robertson will pick up his 4th personal foul.
We've got so many players with so many good players with 4 fouls here, Joe.
The Joliet West coaches trying to keep their ball club in the game despite trailing by 1. And at the line, Tony Graves to shoot a 1-on-1. No good. Rebound Marion. Graves has been almost perfect for the line until that shot.
I would think Joliet West wants to try to get the ball to Marion this possession. If not Marion, possibly Ellie McGoy for a jump shot.
Thompson out to Rodney Bayless. Inside to Robertson. Shoots it over Gant. No good. Rebound Graves.
That wasn't a bad
Tucker
shot.
brings it up.
That wasn't a bad shot. Kevin, you know, squared pretty well, and he's got to take a 4-footer like that.
Tucker on the dribble to Michael Travis. The Central Steelman guard was looking inside. They find Winters. No good. Rebound Graves. Finds a nice little hook inside. Travis can't get it to fall. Rebound Robertson.
Again, Joliet Central did some nice things. I mean, that was a good shot by Winters. Excellent follow-up. Great pass, but the ball didn't go down for him.
Three-point attempt by Marion, partially blocked by Winters. James Winters has 3 blocks tonight, Frank. 2 have been on 3-point attempts. That tells you about the length of his arms.
James Winter does some things that you've got to look closely to notice. And as you said, Joe, all you got to do is get a little bit of a fingertip on the ball.
Rodney Bayless reached in on the dribble and picks up the foul. Rodney Bayless with 2 personal fouls. If anyone can afford to take some, it's Rodney Bayless for Joliet West.
Well, we're there down. We're going to hit into the last 1 minute. And as you can see, and we've seen already, both teams now are getting a little more tentative. They're not playing with reckless abandon because they know that every possession counts.
1 minute and 13 seconds left in the ball game. The winner advancing to the Romeoville sectional next week. Michael Travis makes it for 1. Travis now with 10 points on the night, Frank, and that gives the Steelmen a 2-point lead with 1:13 left. 53-51. Off the back, no good. Rebound Marion, and the Tigers will bring it up the other way to try and tie or take the lead.
Talk about big possessions. Certainly it's a big one for Joliet West.
Remember in high school, no shot clock. McGoy from 3, up the back of the rim, no good. Rebound Central. Gant with the ball, less than a minute to go. The Steelmen lead by 2, and somebody's going to have to foul, but everybody's in foul trouble, so West is hesitant to come up and foul.
Well, I think Joliet West wants to maintain some pressure here, hope to get a turnover, but now we're getting a countdown stage where they're going to have to foul.
All the way out to Tucker, 30 seconds left. Gant.
Good job by Central.
Central really moving the ball around. West refuses to foul, and finally, Elliot McGoy reaches in for the foul with 21 seconds left in the ball game. There's your clock in the corner right-hand of your screen. A 2-point Central lead.
Joe, if you can recall, we've been in this situation before in big games where the game is not over. Joliet Central fans are celebrating, but a lot of things can happen in the last 21 seconds.
There's the crowd, the Joliet Central Steelman crowd trying to put the boogaboo on for good luck, and it works. Michael Travis gives Joliet Central a 3-point cushion.
If you're Joliet Central fan and if you're Greg Peyton, you certainly like to have your all-conference players sitting at the free throw line.
No good. Marion the rebound. 20 seconds left. A 3-point lead. The Tigers have to go for the long shot, Frank. Thompson is open on the key. McGoy partially blocked by Winters. Ball comes down. We have a whistle and a foul underneath. James Winters got his hand on the ball again. His 4th block of the night. Incredible anticipation by Winters that thwarted that attempt by McGoy.
Great job of blocking that shot because now you eliminate that potential 3-pointer. But Joliet West is in an interesting position here. They have to try to make the first one, and then what do? Try to miss the second and hope for an offensive rebound.
There is a timeout on the floor here at Joliet West. A standing room only crowd going wild here. The bleacher creatures for Joliet Central. The wild fans of Joliet West. This game is certainly not over despite just 4 9 seconds rather left on the clock as Greg Peden is trying to tell his players that 3-point cushion doesn't necessarily mean we're going to Romeoville, boys. And by the way, while we're speaking of the Romeoville sectional, let's put up that graphic and take a look at what's to come next week at the Romeoville sectional, when the Class AA boys sectional will take place in Romeoville. And we can talk about the games that will be there if we can look at the graphic of those games. First off, it'll be the winner of this ball game, the Joliet West regional winner, taking on the Bolingbrook regional winner. That'll be on Tuesday, March 7th at 7:30. And then on Wednesday, the 8th, also at 7:30, the Waubonsee Valley regional winner takes on the Lincoln Way regional winner. We could very well have Central against Lockport and Providence against Waubonsee Valley. And then, of course, the winner of the sectional advances to East Aurora for the Sweet 16 against the Hinsdale Central sectional winner. That's the trail the teams have to take to the March Madness of Assembly Hall in Champaign-Urbana. There's their clock in the right-hand corner of your screen. Central with a 3-point lead, 54-51.
Joe, if you're Greg Peden, what you said to your team was there's one thing important, guys, and that is we all go to secure the rebound, and we do not give the ball up. In a sense, you can cover the ball, you can make sure you pass to an open teammate, but we're not going to turn the ball over.
Snowden's free throw brings the Tigers within 2.
The other possibility here would be to play for to score. Joliet West would play to make this one and then foul immediately.
Doesn't get it. The Steelman gets the rebound. Michael Thompson gets the foul. Thompson is fouled out. He had to sacrifice himself to get that foul. Only 2 seconds ticked off the clock.
You know,
although Michael Thompson fouls out, the Steelman will go to the line, but you never know what can happen.
No, you know, because you got a situation because of the 3-point play. I mean, you can foresee what if there's a miss. Central West rebounds the ball and is able to shoot the ball from distance. It goes down. Now all of a sudden, instead of a tie, you're looking at a win for Joliet West because of the 3-point play.
At the line, Randy Tucker. He can sew it up if he makes them both. Makes the first one.
This next one obviously is the key.
(55-52), 7 seconds left. This could sew it up for the Steelmen. And it does.
Game's over.
4-point lead, 7 seconds left. Joliet West calls a last-second desperation timeout. But the crowd behind us, Frank, the Joliet Central crowd, seems to feel victory in their 7th consecutive regional final. They haven't come out of all the regional finals, but they've been in 7 consecutive regional finals. And there are the bleacher creatures in the background in their crazy white suits. I don't know why white straitjackets didn't come with those suits, Frank, but they may need them when this game is all over.
Joe, it's hard to imagine now because you have to have 2 possessions that West could get back in this one with only 7 seconds left. But I'll tell you what a tremendous basketball game it's been. Perhaps the old adage of it's hard to beat a team 3 times proved to be true, but you know, terrific crowd enthusiasm and just a great game.
Joliet West beat Joliet Central twice earlier this year, 59-49 here at West, and then West beat Central at Central, 60-59 just a few weeks ago. But as Frank said, 3 will not be the charm for West tonight. Instead, it will be the charm that the Steelmen will wear around their necks as they go to the Romeoville sectional next week against the Bolingbrook regional winner. To half court, the Snowden gets away. Ball goes out of bounds with 5 seconds left. 2 seconds ticking off the clock. West will retain possession, I believe, as the crowd standing up in front of us. So we can't really tell who's got possession of the ball. It looks like it will be Joliet West basketball. By the way, Thompson did not foul out. He did not get the foul on that. Michael Thompson is still in the ball game for West. Michael Thompson from 3, no good. 2 seconds left, 1 second on the clock as the ball goes out of bounds. And the Joliet Central Steelmen feel that the coffin has been shut on JT West.
Well, if you're Joliet Central, all you do is just stand, you just get out of everybody's way.
McGoy at the buzzer, no good, it's all over. 56 to 52, it's all over. The Joliet Central Steelmen and their crowd celebrating the regional championship here tonight against their crosstown rivals from Joliet West, certainly making up for the previous Tiger victories this season in conference play against the Steelmen, winners of the Sika West Conference title, and now champions hanging aloft the baskets here at Joliet West of the Class AA Regional here in Joliet.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're a Joliet West fan, if you're a Joliet West player, if you're one of the coaches, you have nothing at all to put your heads down in this one. This was just a great basketball game, Joe. Joliet Central just nudged out a victory at the end. Again, you know, real intelligent performances on the part of the kids on both teams. You've got to give Joliet Central coaching staff a tremendous amount of credit and the players a tremendous amount of credit, because early in the game, it looked like West was going to dominate. But Greg Peden's calmness and approach to the game, settled down, we're all right, and his systematic way, in a sense, of getting back into the game so that we have basically an even game at half really meant the difference in this one.
We will be back. And believe it or not, Frank, I'm going out the middle of that pack. So call the Coast Guard if you don't hear from me in a few minutes. We'll be back with our post-game coverage of our Channel 15 High School Basketball Game of the Week. The Tigers losing to the Steelmen in the Joliet Regional Championship 56 to 52. We'll be back.
Joliet West High School as host. I want to congratulate the Steelmen on their regional championship. We want to take this trophy and display it proudly, and best of luck in the sectional.
Amongst all these wild crowds, a very happy, very jubilant head coach of the Joliet Central Steelmen, Greg Peden, 7th consecutive regional final trip. Big victory tonight, the first this season against Joliet West. How's it feel?
Yeah, well, it feels great, obviously. Very proud of our kids, and you know, both teams deserve a great deal of credit. The ball game went back and forth. Both teams could have folded several times. Breaks went our way, breaks went their way. You know, there's just ebb and flow, and you know, it's all emotion right now. It's really hard to describe, but we'll have to come back down to the floor and get ready to play next week now.
How important was the foul trouble their starters, in particular, Tony Marion, got into that allowed your inside game to open up and do some more things?
Well, obviously, I think that was a big key early on. They had us down. We had a bad start. Fortunately, we kept chipping away at it and got them in some foul trouble, and then we're able to get the ball inside, got some easy baskets, and got ourselves back in the ball game when some of those guys had to sit with foul trouble. And obviously, down the stretch, that helped us out a great deal.
Tell us a little bit about the problems early. Joliet West goes up early, 11-0. Your players just couldn't hold on to the ball. But Frank mentioned this during our telecast. Greg Peden's handling it with calm. He's just trying to keep his players involved. It's too early to get all freaked out, which you did. Things turned out. What did you say to your kids?
Well, I don't know that I can remember. All I know is my insides were going about 100 miles an hour. I may have looked calm outside, but, that's what the coach has to do. You've got to keep a perspective on things so your kids know you're not blowing your cool. And that's basically what we tried to do on the bench. I think what we did, we went to playing some man-to-man defense, maybe worked off a little bit of nervous energy, and we're able to then finally get in the flow and put the ball in the basket and make some things go. And then, of course, obviously the foul trouble helped.
Are you surprised that Joliet West was intimidated by your full-court press? It caused them a lot of problems and took them out of their game.
Well, I tell you what, Joe, I don't know really whether you can ever tell what to expect in a ball game like this. There's so much emotion tied up into it. We're putting some pressure on them, hoping that they do some things. But on the other hand, they turn around and start the ball game, and they're hitting the basket like a house of fire. And, they could have blown us off the floor right then and there. So, it's a game of ebb and flow. Unfortunately, we caught some breaks down the end, I think. Our kids played hard and stuck with it, and, we're real happy, obviously.
You could very well face Lockport in the sectional opener because they're out there fighting for the Bolingbrook Regional Championship as we speak. Is that a surprise to you that Bolingbrook won't be the school coming out of there, that they got upset in their first game?
Well, yeah, it was somewhat of a surprise, but we've all been around this state long enough, been around tournament basketball enough to know that that's why they call it March Madness. All kind of crazy things happen. And I believe, I don't know for sure, my wife told me that she said that Bennett Academy won the ball game over Lockport. So that's unofficial right now, but if they did, obviously we'll be seeing a new opponent. But either way, Bolingbrook had a great season. Obviously that's kind of who everybody was pointing to and figuring it would be there. But all I'm happy is that we're one of the teams.
What about the other potential Cinderella story out of the Lincoln Way Regional, the Providence Celtics, and a chance that you could possibly meet them in the final?
Well, they're going to be three good teams there. Wabansie Valley, Yorkville both have excellent ball teams. Providence and Tinley Park both have very good teams, and both of them are very well coached. So that bracket's going to be a tough matchup. And whether it's Bennett Academy or Lockport, both teams there are very well coached. They started with young squads, and people look at their records and think they're not real tough. But both of them are playing almost all sophomores and juniors, and by this time of the year, they've really seasoned and they've come along well as teams. So both teams would give us a tough battle, I'm sure.
Tremendous effort tonight, Greg. Congratulations on a big regional victory.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
We'll see you at the sectional.
Appreciate your coverage. Thank you.
All right, Greg Peden, the head basketball coach of the Joliet Central Steelmen. They win it here tonight. A big victory, 56-52. Michael Travis was the story at the free throw line down in the end. He put the Central Steelmen ahead. Then it was Randy Tucker's free throws that made the insurance count at the very end of the ball game with 7 seconds left. The Steelmen win here tonight by 4, 56-52 to up their overall record to 19 wins and just 8 losses. The Sitka West Conference champions advance now onto the the Romeoville sectional to take on either Bennett Academy or Lockport in the sectional semifinal Tuesday night at 7:30. Now, as for the Joliet West Tigers, they close out their season at 15-10. Coach Mike O'Connell's ball club gave it a great effort tonight, but a lot of things just did not go their way. Tonight, the way was Central's way. We'll be back with more of our post-game coverage from the Joliet West Regional Final right after this timeout. All right, we're back down here on the floor. You know these guys. They're the regional champions of Joliet. 56-52, the final score. The Joliet Central Steelmen, their 7th consecutive regional final. They win it here tonight. They couldn't do it against Catholic High last year. They did it 2 years ago against West, and they came back to beat West here tonight. Let's talk to a couple of the players that were involved in the victory tonight. First off, where's Tucker? There he is. A couple of very gutsy free throws there at the very end. Travis really kind of sewed things up with some big free throws of his own there toward the end. But you put the lid on the coffin. Your thoughts on the free throw line at the end?
I was thinking about it. We practice them every day, so it was just like practice. I shot them like practice.
Randy,
they went in, so hey.
Randy, there was a lot of full court pressure you guys put on Joliet West. It really seemed to intimidate them despite their good early start. Tell us what the coach told you guys and how you made it execute on the court.
He just told us come out and play aggressively like we usually do, and we had to kind of play a little bit looser because we had too many people in foul trouble. But we still got steals. Because the pressure was still working though.
Well, it certainly was. Chris Gann had a great job coming off the bench. There was some guys getting into some foul trouble on West. It seemed to take them out of the game. Did you feel that when you came in?
Well, I just don't know what to say right now.
All right. Hold off, guys. Let's give us a little room here. All right, Michael, come squeeze back over here. You had some big free throws there toward the end after this guy started to play unconscious there. The fact is you guys really put a press on that took them out of their game. Tell us a little bit about it, how effective it was.
Well, I'm just like Chris, I'm speechless right now. As long as we won, that's all I'm thinking about.
Tony Graves, early in the game, you were perfect in the free throw line. Finally hit a field goal from about 12 feet out. We didn't think you were going to take any two-pointers. And then all of a sudden, you go out there and you really took charge of the game in the second quarter that got you guys back in despite being down 11-0. Tell us a little bit about it. Did you feel you wanted to take charge?
Yeah, well, I thought if we foul Marion and Robertson off and get them off the floor, they'd have a hard time trying to hold me and James down low.
Well, it certainly did. How much a factor did it play knowing that Marion was in foul trouble, Robertson later got into foul trouble, Snowden was off the bench? It seemed to open more things up in the second half for you guys inside.
Yeah, it gave us easy shots because Marion and Robertson are two good post players, and I thought they did. I thought they did pretty good.
You know, we pointed out in the beginning of the telecast that in the 2 seasons prior to tonight's game, you had only scored 16 total points against West. Tonight, you just had the game of your life against West. You picked a good time to have your best game against the Tigers.
Well, I just, well, I thought if I hustle and move, be active and stuff, and I think I would score more points.
You certainly did. Where's James Winters?
Winters!
Get Winters over here. Winters is up on the nets. Guys, congratulations. Go help Winters out in the nets. Good luck at the sectionals. Good luck in the sectionals. Frank Palmasani, where's Frank? Let's get Frank over here and close this thing out. Just a couple minutes left. We want to remind you, here's the scoring totals unofficially. James Winters, or rather Tony Graves led the way with 20 points tonight. Winters with 16, also in double figures. Michael Travis with 11. And Tucker, of course, with the 2 big free throws in the end, finished with 4 points tonight. For the Tigers, they were led with 16 points by Elliot McGoy. 56-52, the final score. The winner taking on either Bennett or Lockport from the Bolingbrook Regional in the Romeoville Sectional Championship. And we understand it was Bennett. James, come in here for just a second. Real quick word with you before we leave here. It seemed like the inside really opened up for you guys when Marion got into foul trouble and Robertson also was plagued with fouls.
Yeah. Well, Coach Payton told us for me to go down low to open up the baseline, you know, to spread the defense out so we can get the ball easier.
One last thing. I counted you unofficially with 4 block shots, 3 on 3-point attempts, 2 toward the end of the game, which I thought was a key in keeping Elliot McGoy and Thompson off the 3-point board.
Yeah. Coach told us to try to, you know, keep them off the 3-pointers, you know. So, you know.
You did a heck of a job. Good luck. We'll see you in the sectional. For Frank Palmasani, I'm Joe Passion from the Joliet Regional Final. The final score once again, 56-52. Joliet Central, they're not going to Disneyland, but they are going to Romeoville. Good night, everyone. See you at the sectional.
I love you.